Hello everybody and welcome back to the best ride in Planet Coaster Tournament. In the first episode, we saw Forge taking down Gears of Fear in a close battle, Hammer Swing hammering Rocktopus, and Overpower overpowering Kickflip. God, I hate myself for those jokes. In today's episode, we have Iron Claw versus the Cube, Magic Twirl versus the Aeronauts, and Tri-Storm versus the Collider. Let's get right into our first match and look at the stats of the competing rides. So I think it's safe to say that up until this point, we have not had a match where the ride stats were this far apart from each other. For Iron Claw, we have 3.5 excitement, 3.16 fear, 3.42 nausea. Overall, a pretty average ride in terms of the rides we've seen so far. The Cube, however, 5.95 excitement, 6.27 fear, 5.93 nausea. Those stats are super high. However, that's not technically a great thing because, once again, they're apparently average stats for the ride. It's interesting to see what's going to happen here for the Cube. Will that extra excitement be enough to bring the guests in, or will that higher fear push them away to the Iron Claw? And will the Iron Claw be exciting enough to take the guests away from the Cube? We're about to find out. Okay, match 4 is about to begin. Let me just make sure that everything is set up correctly. Any load, 600 seconds. Any load, 600 seconds. Price should be set to zeros. They are. Here we go. Iron Claw open. The Cube is open. And now the park is open. I have a strong feeling that this is going to be a very close match. However, I do think the Iron Claw is going to win it. I feel like the Iron Claw is going to be the first ride with the lower excitement rating compared to its competitor to move on in this tournament, because these numbers are insane. But we're going to find out, and it's wow. It is really looking favored for the Iron Claw already. Ho ho. We might fill up this entire queue line. Holy crap. The Cube is it's just too extreme. It is the most intense ride we've had to date, and it's not paying off. It's really not, even with that high excitement. This is crazy. The park just filled up. We're almost at 500 guests as well. They're already in the Pirates with Bad Aim. Also, I need to point out, it's been mentioned that people are saying that I should align my markers. These technically aren't even markers. I just kind of threw the dragons and the pirates down to up the queue scenery, and they actually are aligned. Believe it or not. They might not look it at certain angles, but look at that. They are indeed aligned. So I just copied them and then moved them over and rotated them. So yeah, they're all good. Everything's fine. And like I said, they're not even technically markers. If I were to mark it, I would have made sure it was more accurate. But yeah, they're more references than anything. But I'm pretty sure we can end this right now. There's literally no way the Cube is going to win this. This is the quickest round we've had yet, or match we've had yet, and round, both. This is insane. Absolutely stepped on. I did think it was going to be closer than this, but wow. I was wrong. Yeah, it's safe to say we can call it here. There's no way. No way that the Iron Claw is going to lose against the Cube. Wow. All right, let's just, because the rules state we do at least 2 rounds. Best of 3. Let's just get this over with. Round 2 of match 4. Iron Claw versus the Cube. This is just... Can we call it right now? Can we just call it here? There's people waiting. See, the people are getting to this queue line so fast, they actually have to wait for the family in front of them to get into the queue line before the other ones do. There are more people for this ride than last time, but just the sheer amount here. I think it's mainly just a lot of singles right off the start here. Like, there's just the entire queue line is full. There's not a second in which there's not people in this queue line. We're halfway filled with the park right now, and the entire queue line is full up to this point. Let's see if this continues. It's gonna stop right there. There's gonna be a little bit of a break, but the majority of the queue line is full. There's one little break here compared to all these giant gaps in that other one. The most one-sided victory we've had to date. Wow. That's kind of cool. Like I mentioned earlier, like with these stats, I did think it was going to be a little bit better. But that just proves that excitement rating isn't the greatest thing to go by. You got to go by everything, because that fear is causing problems and nausea. It's a very intense ride, and people would rather, the general Planet Coaster guest would rather a gentler experience than that. Look at that. I feel like more people are giving the cube a chance this time, but they're not gonna win. It's not happening. Not on this day. The Ironclaw takes it. Can we call it here? Do we wait? Do we wait more? I mean, we don't need to wait, but I'll give it a few more seconds here, because I know people will yell at me if I don't. Okay, yeah, no, I'm ending it. I'm the commissioner. I can do what I want. This is way over. Ironclaw takes this win and moves on to the next round. And with that, Ironclaw moves on in the tournament to face Monteleone in the next round. I googled how to pronounce that correctly, and that's how the YouTube video sounded, so there you go. Anyway, next match, Magic Twirl versus Aeronauts. Let's look at the stats. The first thing I noticed about these two rides is that the Magic Twirl is pretty lame. Both excitement and fear are in the reds, below 2. And nausea is also below 2, but that happens to be a good thing because it's not going to make people throw up because it's so lame. The Aeronauts is a little more exciting. Again, excitement is in the red, but fear's average, so that's looking good for it. And again, nausea is below 2 and it's in the green. So, just looking at these stats, it does look like Aeronauts is going to be the victor. But as we found out last round, that just because you have higher stats in certain categories doesn't mean that you will win, as the Iron Claw just demonstrated against the cube. But anyway, here we go. Match 5, Magic Twirl versus the Aeronauts. Now, I remember what the Aeronauts queue line looked like in the one video I did where I was trying to figure out the best ride when I had them all set up in a line. It had a pretty decent queue line size, so I have a strong feeling based on that knowledge alone that the Aeronauts is going to step on Magic Twirl. The stats are both low on each, so it should be interesting to see what happens overall, but I have a strong feeling that Aeronauts is going to take this. Here we go. Both rides are open, everything's set up the way it should be, and now the park is open. Let match 5, round 1 begin. I feel like both these rides will accept children as well. So, yeah, it's looking like the Aeronauts is gonna win it. Just, it's pretty much the Cube Iron Claw situation all over again. Not as favored, but still, it seems as though the Aeronauts is gonna be heavily favored here compared to Magic Twirl. And let's face it, why? Would you rather go on a nice air balloon ride? Or would you rather go on some ride where you're constantly being farted on by some cutie? What is that supposed to be? What is that supposed to be? It's just green smoke coming out from under the fat lady. What is that supposed to be? Other than fart cloud. It has to be fart. Unbelievable. Yeah, no. I'd definitely be in the hot air balloon queue line. Alright, it is closer than I thought it would be. But I still feel like the Aeronauts is going to win this one, and then they're definitely going to win the next round if they win this round. But maybe not. Maybe I'm just being a little biased. Again, look at the park, or the guest number is super low. And again, both of these rides aren't drawing in huge amounts of guests, which is why we're probably not going to hit the 500 limit. Maybe 425-ish, somewhere around there we'll get to. But, yeah, I don't think we're going to get past that. Guests are slowly trickling in, and not even to the Pirates with Bad Aim. Just at the Eating Dragon. Look at that. 412. I guess we're just going to sit here and wait. Okay, we are at 445 guests. More than I thought was going to enter the park, and it's just not happening anymore. Aeronauts takes round 1. And like I mentioned at the start, it ended up being closer than I thought it would be. A lot closer. So there is a chance Magic Twirl could win the next round. There's a chance. Not a high chance, but still a chance. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the one ride that doesn't get 2-0'd. I guess technically the further on in this tournament we go, the more likely that is to happen, because as the crappier rides get weeded out earlier on, you know, the more likely they're going to be closer to each other in ratings. So, yeah. Okay, here we go. Match 5, round 2. Aeronauts is up 1-0. Will they win this one as well? Let's find out. The park is open. Here comes the guests. Giant clump of them goes to Aeronauts, but they're keeping up. Magic Twirl is it's falling behind. Like I said, these early estimates based on the spaces in the queue line as all the guests walk into them. It's usually a good indicator of what's going to happen here. And it appears it's going to be a similar round to the first one, where Aeronauts is going to take it. Although anything's possible. We could just get a high number of guests and like, you know what, I want to go on a twirl ride and get farted on. I just feel like being farted on today, so let me hop on that. Yeah, it's not looking like that's going to be likely. 370 guests in the park. I'll probably wait till around 4:30 because, you know, I was sitting there for a while, not doing anything as guests slowly came into the park, so. There's a child! That's the first child I've seen all video. Oh, there's some. There are a few here and there. They do exist. And yeah, they will ride either of these, which I would imagine they would. They're both, look at the excitement and stuff on them, or the fear is super low. Aeronauts has a higher fear. Yeah, it's still on. See, that's so interesting how in the first match of the day, you had Iron Claw, way lower results compared to the Cube. And in this round, Aeronauts has the slightly higher stats. And that one's winning instead. So it's almost like around 3 is the preferred excitement, fear, and nausea for these rides. That's what it seems like from these initial matches. Because we saw one with super high excitement, but super high other things lose out to one with lower stuff. And it appears as the closer you are to 3, the better off you are. We'll keep that in the back of our heads while we go through the rest of these matches. I'll probably end up forgetting, but yeah, Aeronauts is going to win this one by an even bigger lead than it did the first round. Look at that. There you have it. Aeronauts moves on in the tournament. And with that 2-0 victory, the Aeronauts move on in the tournament to face Whirly-Rig in its next match. And now for the final match of the day, Tri-Storm vs. Collider. Let's look at the stats. The thing that stands out to me the most comparing these two rides is just how low the excitement is for the Tri-Storm. I could have sworn both of these rides would be identical in their stats, but Tri-Storm's excitement is red. Red is bad. Red is bad, orange is average, green is good. So I really can't see how the Triforce is going to win this one. I remember them being close in the comparison video, but even Fear. Fear for the Colliders, 3.96 average. Tri-Storm, it's 2.35. But I feel like the Collider is closer to having green Fear, while Tri-Storm is closer to having red Fear, if that makes sense. Because I feel as if, you know, there is a certain fear threshold the guests want from their rides. And I feel like Collider's way closer to that than Tri-Storm. Nausea is lower on the Tri-Storm, but again, they're both green, and Collider's nausea isn't that high either. I feel like the stats point to Collider having a significant advantage in this matchup, but let's find out. Okay, here we go. Match 6, the last one for this episode. TriStorm versus Collider. Who do I think's gonna win? I want to say the Collider's gonna win this one, but I'm not entirely sure because the video where I did test them all in a line, TriStorm for a while there had a really long queue line. And then I did it again, and Collider had a really strong queue line. Judging by the stats, though, I feel like Collider's got it. Because TriStorm, it's 2.91, it's still red. It's super close to 3. They're not that far off. Should be interesting. Let's just shut up and do it. TriStorm's open. Collider's open. The park is open. And here we go. Round 1. Begin. Ooh, what? TriStorm starts off strong. Collider then comes back. Oh, it's going to be super close. I have a feeling this one's going to be super close. Oh no, our monthly profit, minus $15,827.03. Oh no, but our park rating went up. Hooray! Look at this. We might have to run the guests through the queue lines. You know what? In preparation for this, let me just put a little piece of path there. I don't think I need it there. I think they will just get stuck at the end or at the exit, but you know, just making sure. TriStorm takes the lead and is holding the lead. 450 guests in the park. I think we will hit the 500. But wow, my predictions. They were wrong. I love that. I love that I was wrong. Why? Because based on the majority of the previous matches, Collider should have won this one with that excitement rating being 3.62. TriStorm's excitement is red. Yeah, I know I just said closer to 3, but I was thinking around high 3s, 4 is where you want excitement. TriStorm's excitement is red. It's not even orange or yellow. Or that's orange. How crazy is that? And it's winning. It's going to win. There's only room for 5 more guests in the park, 2 more guests in the park. And it's going to win round 1. TriStorm with the upset. And you might be saying, oh, you're just saying it's an upset because it's the one you thought was going to win isn't winning. No, this is an upset regardless of who do you think is going to win this, because based on these stats alone, TriStorm was definitely the underdog in this category or in this match. And TriStorm just won round 1. All right. Will TriStorm be able to win round 2? It was pretty close at the start there, so maybe, maybe not. Let's find out. All right, match 6, round 2. Collider with the 1-0 lead so far. Who is going to come out on top in this one? My money's now on TriStorm. Here we go. Right away. It looks like TriStorm is getting most of the guests again. Oh, definitely. TriStorm has more of a lead this time round than in the first round. Look at that. Wow. TriStorm does it again. It wasn't a fluke. TriStorm is looking to be the better ride out of these 2 rides. That is not what I would have put my money on. Wow. Although, the round's still going. I shouldn't call it before it's done, but I think I'm getting to that point where I've done enough of these matches to know a winner when I see one. And based on all the information we have so far, it looks like TriStorm's definitely going to be the winner here. Who would have guessed it? Again, let's look at those stats. Wrong button. There we go. 2.91. 3.62. Fear and nausea are down there, but there you have it. There you have it. 475 guests in the park. All the ones that are entering park are going on the TriStorm. The park entrance is not accessible from the exit of multiple rides. Well, no. What are we gonna do? Oh, you wanna know what we're gonna do? We're just gonna ignore that. Problem solved. 10 more guests need to enter the park, but it's over. If every single guest gets in the Collider queue line, it does not matter. TriStorm wins it. The biggest upset so far in best tournament history. Best ride tournament history. Yeah, sure, we'll go with that. TriStorm moves on. And that does it for today's matches. Ironclaw, the Aeronauts, and TriStorm all move on in the tournament to fight for the best ride in Planet Coaster title. Next episode, we'll finish off the first round of matches with Hyperspin versus the Big Wheel, Psychola versus Wild Blue, and Sandy versus the Looper, and a fourth match, Genie versus Pathos 3. Some of those look like they're going to be pretty good. Some of them look like they're going to be an absolute slaughter. Cough, cough. Big Wheel versus the Hyperspin. Cough, cough. But anyway, that does it for this episode. Thank you all for watching. Leave a like and share the video if you enjoyed. They help a lot. Subscribe if you want to see more. And I'll see you next time.